me. We don't have to hear you.
Then be quiet
So
because
you
I'm
not
speaking
my
and I'm
daddy.
asking
You
a
do
question.
that at home, not here.
I'm not your
Okay?
father, but I am the
Exactly.
president,
So
and
treat
right
me
now I
with
have the
respect,
floor.
'cause I'm tired of that. Be respectful. You may not do that at home, but you're going to do it up in here.
The Tampa Bay Rays are staying in St. Petersburg, Florida, and they're getting a brand new stadium in 2028. Now, it came down to a 5-3 vote, and it almost got ugly. But what does that mean for housing here in St. Pete? Are property values going up, down, or should you continue to keep renting? Believe it or not, a new stadium and how the Rays play can dramatically impact the price of rent and the value of a new home. I'll jump into that in a second. So if everybody wanted the stadium, why such a close vote? I shot a previous video here laying out all the issues with the new stadium, and believe me, there's a lot. I'll put a link in the description below this video. There's a lot of facts you need to know, and I'll tell you what you need to do now in regards to housing before it's too late. Let's jump in. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Grant Warrington, and I moved from cold and cloudy Michigan to St. Petersburg, Florida, and I have found a life that I never knew existed. And I believe this is truly paradise in America. Explore it with me, and I'm gonna show you why you should either move here, visit here, or invest here. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Now let's go.
This was news with a capital N, right? This was greeted by a round of applause in the council chamber. As you said, Chris, they just approved the largest economic plan in the city's history, $6.5 billion, and perhaps biggest of all for the supporters, a 30,000-seat stadium for the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays will be staying in St. Pete. Say it again, right? The Rays will be staying in St. Pete.
I love how he says it twice, right? So now we know the Rays are staying in St. Pete. I just want to put this in perspective. He said it's a $6.5 billion project, and the stadium's going to cost $1.3 billion alone. So we've all heard of the Las Vegas Sphere, right? I know you have. According to this Detroit Free Press News article, the Vegas Sphere, with its dazzling LED exterior and immersive interior, comes with a hefty price tag. Originally estimated at $1.2 billion in 2019, the final construction cost ballooned to a staggering $2.3 billion, making it the most expensive entertainment venue ever built in Las Vegas. So that amazing venue was scheduled to be just underneath what the cost of this new ballpark's going to be. And then it ballooned way out of control, which happens, and that's one of my concerns on this project. Let's get back to it.
Take a look. There was a round of applause as this was approved just a few minutes ago. This was a 5-3 vote. And the two councilors people were wondering about praised this process, saying they were eager for the future and said this was the right project at the right time. They've been going through these agreements, very complicated agreements, thousands of pages, point by point.
I want to give a huge shout out to City Council on this. I know there were a lot of people opposed. This was a very big decision in the city, and there was a lot of people on one side and a lot on the other. So they've been going back and forth with this for a long time, and they handled it like professionals. It was really refreshing to see politicians disagree with each other and still treat each other like human beings. Being from Detroit, a lot of people will ask me, hey, what took so long to get that city going? And let me show you a clip of how that city council used to deal with each other.
This is based on
I did say
several.
based upon your
All due
experience,
respect,
right?
President Pro Tem, I have the floor.
I just want to say, I said
Well,
based
you
upon his experience.
you just jumped on another council member about interrupting and
Sure
not
did.
throwing it to
Attacked
me.
me, and I didn't attack you.
I have the floor.
We know you do. But I said based upon his years.
I have the floor, President Pro Tem. I don't want to hear you anymore.
And you don't have to hear me. We don't have to hear you.
Then be quiet
So
because
you
I'm
not
speaking
my
and I'm
daddy.
asking
You
a
do that
question.
at home, not here.
I'm not your father, but I am the president,
So
and
treat
right
me
now I
with
have the
respect,
floor.
'cause I'm tired of that. Be respectful. You may not do that at home, but you're going to do it up
Stop
in here.
interrupting.
You grow up. Control your house, and you know how to treat other women better.
You're the last one to talk.
I'm the first one to
Council
talk
member.
to Shrek.
Shrek.
You're out of
Shrek.
order.
The first one to talk. Don't
You're out of
disrespect me.
order. Order of the day.
I will call this to adjourn if you don't.
Do it, baby.
Adjourn.
Do it.
Move to adjourn.
Do
We're
it.
going to take a brief recess.
Support.
She called him Shrek. Again, that was Monica Conyers. She was married to John Conyers, who was the U.S. rep for Michigan. On a side note, Monica Conyers ended up pleading guilty to federal bribery charges and ended up going to prison. Detroit was wild back in the early 2000s.
Mayor and city officials say the project will fulfill the promises of the gas plant district and generate revenue that the city couldn't dream of elsewhere.
A lot of people were opposed to this deal, but make no mistake, no one wanted the Rays to leave. Everyone wanted them to stay here in St. Pete, but the deal calls for the city spending over $600 million over 30 years and recouping about $300 million. So that's not the best business decision, and if they base this solely on a business decision, I don't think they'd do this deal. However, the impact on the community and the economic return really can't be measured with this new stadium.
We're going to have to throw out a pitch somewhere in 2028, so it was coming. But I'm thrilled that it's happened here in St. Petersburg. That's been our goal.
What did you make of the way the process went down today? You heard many of the arguments you've heard all along. What do you think was the key argument from your perspective that made this happen?
From our end, it's everything that we've done up to this point for a couple of decades, and it's Major League Baseball, and the folks up there recognized that it brings a lot to a city, and it's going to create a ton of joy, and we're going to bring so much to bear going forward.
My man Stu lives in St. Petersburg too. He said that in the council meeting, so I love that.
To the fans who have watched this process, as you said, gone up and down, many of them have stayed with you and said, you know, we want this team to stay. What's your,
it's helped fuel me. It's helped fuel me and our organization. When people come up to you and say, we believe in what you're doing, we want the team to be here, it certainly fueled everything to get us to this point.
Again, the only concern that people were bringing up is, are we giving up too much? And that's a valid concern. I love the way everybody presented their sides of the argument, came together, and made this decision democratically. They voted on it.
One councilor who voted no said the city should have put this forward as a referendum to the voters, given the enormous cost of this and the change that the project represents. Another who was opposed called it corporate welfare in its purest sense.
So again, I'm from Detroit, and we built 3 stadiums inside the city in the last 25 years. And every single stadium was opposed. But if you ask people now, I guarantee they're going to say it's the best thing that could have happened for the city of Detroit. And I know they'll be saying this here in the future. The big difference with Detroit is you don't always have great weather. So people will come into the city, fill the stands, watch the game, and then go home to the suburbs after. In St. Pete, we always have beautiful weather, so people can come down here, make a day of it, go to the bars, restaurants, museums, sightsee, and put all that money back into the local community.
The mayor, though, said the deal for the 30,000-seat stadium and $6.5 billion development simply won't get any better than it is right now. The city is going to be on the hook for infrastructure costs, for bonds, for debt service, and also for the sale of the land. It's going to cost about $700 million over the next 30 years. Okay,
$700 million. I was off by $100 million. These numbers keep fluctuating. And they keep going up. They're not going down.
But in short, city councilors today said that that is worth the cost of keeping the team here and having an enormous development to go alongside of it right now at that Tropicana Field site, which is, of course, one big giant parking lot.
When we moved down here, I was blown away by all of this prime real estate that's just a empty parking lot. Now, I own real estate, but I'm not a developer, but even I knew they needed to develop all of this land. And now it sounds like they're going to. They're going to put in restaurants, bars, offices, and all kinds of other things, including housing. And this is going to be an amazing place to live and play in downtown St. Pete. Now, a few things to consider. It's going to take 20 years to build and 30 years to pay back. So over the next 30 years, the Rays could sell the team to a new owner. They definitely be new city council members and new mayors. So I'm hoping this city council made the best decision for this city moving forward for the best 30 years. And I feel they did.
It's going to look a lot different over the next 10 or 15 years, starting with the new stadium that's going to be open at the beginning of the 2028 season.
Now, when my wife and I moved down to St. Pete, we lived in the downtown area. And believe me, rents are high. We lived there for 1 year and decided, you know what? we can't afford to live here anymore, and we moved out and bought a house a little farther outside of the city. Now, everyone's been screaming that they need affordable housing on these projects, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to build 600 affordable housing units on that property, and then they're going to build another 600 somewhere else in the county. But what is affordable housing and who lives there? According to floridahousing.org, affordable housing is sometimes referred to as workforce housing. This is because affordable housing serves the needs of people employed in the jobs that we rely upon to make every community viable. There are people such as teachers, teachers' aides, nursing assistants, medical technologists, retail workers, government employees, emergency service providers, and law enforcement. These are some of the low and very low income members of your community. This is a small snapshot of what the residents at the Metro 510 do for a living. You have a law firm legal assistant, Red Lobster busboy, Fly Bar and restaurant chef, Moffitt Cancer Center medical assistant, Publix cashier and manager, Finish Line sales associate, and Progressive Insurance claims admin support. So those are the people that typically live in workforce housing. So if you're looking to get out of the renting market and buy a home like we did, the housing market in St. Pete at the moment seems to be cooling off a little bit. I think this is because of the high interest rates and still the high asking prices. There's a lot of product on the market and not a lot of buyers. So you're starting to see some price reductions. I mean, like $20,000 price reductions. Now, I don't think this is going to last long because the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, just gave the St. Pete College a $7 million grant for an AI program. City Council just approved this $6 billion project in the city. And St. Pete was also named the best food city in the United States. So if you're looking to buy, I think right now might be the best time to buy. And I also got a district that I absolutely love that I'm going to go over in another video. But I want to know how the real estate around a new ballpark is affected by a new stadium going in. So according to leading real estate companies of the world, here's an article that talks just about that. According to property experts, the values of homes within a 1 mile radius of the stadium have witnessed a substantial increase, making it a lucrative prospect for real estate investors. That's good to hear. A survey by the International Association of Venue Managers shows that 82% of stadium owners reported contributing to infrastructure and development projects around their venues. These enhancements can enhance the overall livability of an area, making it more appealing to both residents and investors alike. Well-planned developments can lead to an increase in real estate demand and, consequently, prices. However, there's another side to the story, and it's not all golden goals for real estate investors near stadiums. One of the most significant challenges is the inconsistency of rental income. This is good for all you renters out there. You may see rents drop in the off season if it's being used by sports fans. Now, this is what really intrigued me. And if you're not a baseball fan, I bet you're gonna be after this. It's very important that the Rays have a winning season. Check this out. Team performance and economic conditions can influence fan attendance, directly impacting the demand for nearby properties. The same report by the National Bureau of Economic Research found that winning an additional game during the regular season corresponds to a 0.14% increase in housing values within a mile of the stadium. That's extremely interesting. But here's the bad part. Conversely, a losing season can lead to a drop in local property value. So here's my message to the Rays. You better be winning from here on out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Do you know that 82% of the people watching right now forgot to subscribe? Are you one of them? Smash that button and I'll keep making some great St. Pete content. I got another video right here you're gonna love, so click on that video and I'll see you there.